When I was 18, I was in an accident that caused TBI, resulting in me losing most of my hearing in both ears, making me deaf. I didn't qualify for cochlear implants, so being deaf was just my new reality. Obviously, this derailed my life for a while. University got pushed back, and I was depressed for a long time. Eventually, I got back out there, discovered the deaf community, learned ASL, American Sign Language, and at 26, I now feel very content with my life. My parents were devastated by my accident, and our relationship has never been the same. A few years ago, I told them I have embraced being deaf, and I asked them if they would learn ASL, as that is now how I prefer to communicate. They said no at the time because they didn't have time to learn a new language. I have tried many times over the years to try to give them information on deafness and ASL, and they have shown no interest. We communicate now mainly by using voice to text on our phones, which is far from perfect and very chaotic when multiple people are talking. Trying to keep up with conversations is exhausting, and people are constantly getting frustrated with me for not following along. Often we watch movies, but they refuse to turn the captions on because it's annoying, despite the fact that it means I can't understand the movie at all. This past Christmas, I once again struggled with conversations, which once again resulted in me being either ignored or yelled at. Before I went home again, I sat my parents down and told them that if they did not begin to learn ASL, I would not be visiting again for a long time. I told them I don't expect them to ever be fluent, but I need them to show effort in learning. I told them that they have continuously dismissed my needs as a deaf person, and that if they want to continue to have a meaningful relationship with me, we need to have some kind of shared language. This didn't go over well at all, as my parents accused me of wanting to cut them off, which isn't true. I just can't do any more visits where my presence feels like a burden. My brother and I have been texting since then, and he thinks I'm being hugely unfair. So, was I wrong?
I'm completely lost because I just found out that my 42 male wife, 36 female of 12 years has been having an affair from the police who called me in for questioning involving the assault of her lover. I don't know what I'm doing right now. I don't know if this is the right sub or even if I should be posting this, but I don't have a clear mind right now and I'm here to ask for some direction. I've been married to my wife for 12 years. We have an amazing 11-year-old son. Until last night, I thought we had a good marriage. I thought I was always really good to her. We have no money problems, no intimacy problems, and I have never taken her for granted. I honestly wake up every morning and thank God she is my wife. Now, I don't know what to think. I got a call from my local police department as I was getting off work yesterday. They asked if I could come to the police station as soon as possible. I panicked. I asked if something had happened to my wife or son, but they said not to worry, just get to the station as soon as possible. When I got there, they put me in a room with a table and some chairs. They asked me my name, which I gave, then they started asking all these questions about a guy my wife works with. I haven't seen or spoken to this guy literally since last December at my wife's Christmas party. The two officers kept asking me things like, "How long have you known?" and "How did you find out?" The only answer I could give was, "What are you talking about?" After about an hour of this, I just stopped answering their questions and kept asking where my son and wife were and were they safe. We just kept going around and around until after about 2 hours on and off, because they would periodically leave the room for 15 to 20 minutes, then come back and start it all over again like some cheap cop show. The last time they came in, the cop handed me a tablet and showed me a video of my wife and the guy from work having sex. I don't remember much right after that. I just remember screaming, "What the F is this?" over and over again. I had a full-blown panic attack right there in the middle of the police station. The police had a paramedic check me out and he said my blood pressure was something like 170 over 110. He wanted me to go to the hospital, but I refused and said I needed to find my wife and my son. After I calmed down, the officers explained that the guy in the video had been having an affair with my wife and apparently several other women. He had been found that morning in his driveway, beaten, violated, and severely burnt. He was still alive, but in critical condition, and they didn't know if he would make it. His wife had given them permission to go through his phone and computer, and that's where they found the video of my wife. They asked me where I was that morning, and I told them the gym, then work about 10 minutes from my gym. At that point, they said I could go, but that I might not want to stay at my house because they didn't know if his affair with my wife could be why he was attacked. They also said my wife wasn't the only person he was having an affair with. That's when I rushed home. My son was staying with our neighbors, so I got him and went home. We packed some clothes and his laptop for school. I grabbed my gun and we headed to my parents' house, 45 minutes away. I still haven't heard from my wife. Her phone is going straight to voicemail. I've called the officer who gave me his card and he said she is at the hospital with the guy she's been cheating with. I'm sitting here in bed with my son on one side and my .38 caliber on the other. I don't even know where to start. Anything would be helpful right now. Any advice or ideas? I am in a fog.
I've been dating my girlfriend for about a year now, and we recently moved in together. She didn't have a lot of furniture and such, so it's mostly mine in our apartment, including my bed, frame, mattress, and sheets. I'm a bit of a neat freak, and she generally is too, so we get along pretty well living together. Now, I'm not one of those guys that gets grossed out over a woman having her menstrual cycle. I'll go buy her feminine products. I don't get weirded out if she mentions it. I will say though, it totally grosses me out getting on my bed though. Well, a few days ago when we woke up, I noticed a blood spot on the bed and got totally grossed out. I knew she had been on her period for 3 days already, so it wasn't any sort of surprise accident. She was wearing her normal pajamas, just no menstrual products. I asked how it happened and she was upset and said she thought she didn't need to sleep with anything on. I told her that was absurd. Why would you go without wearing anything and get blood all over my bed? I told her that was irresponsible and that she needed to pay me for new sheets. She agreed to pay for new sheets, but got upset with me for getting angry and calling her irresponsible. She said that she likes to not wear anything when she can. She said she thought her flow was light and wouldn't bleed overnight. She says I have no reason to be angry to talk down to her over something I don't experience. I said that she should have been more careful with where we sleep and that it was unhygienic. Was I wrong for getting upset and wanting her to pay? I came to visit my dad for the weekend. His girlfriend Tessa doesn't live with him, I guess, but is here all the time and she has a kid. We all went out to dinner yesterday and stopped at Walmart after. I found a movie that I wanted, so I bought it and used cash. Tessa's daughter got some candy and gave her mum the change. I bought my movie with money I got from working. It's not like my dad gave it to me or it was allowance or anything. When we were leaving, Tessa asked me if she could have my change. I said, "What? No," and looked at my dad. She said, "Not the singles, just the change because I need quarters for the laundry mat." I said, "No, I saved my change, sorry." I thought that was the end of it. Then later my dad talked to me while we were outside. He said that I came off as stingy and should have just given Tessa my change. She has to use the laundry mat and it's not even $1 I'd be giving her. I said, well, it's kind of weird for her to be asking a kid that's not even her kid for money. He said, again, it's not even $1. She's been having a hard time getting quarters. I said, I have a whole change jar at mum's. I can go get it. He said, and give it to her? I said, no, I'll count it out and she can buy the change from me. He said, never mind, I just thought you could give her the change from earlier. Be the bigger person. You're lucky you have it so good and don't have to pay to do laundry. I do my laundry at home, not his house anyways. Today, Tessa kept making comments about how she's glad she taught her daughter to share and not be entitled. I don't have a problem with giving her 75 cents, if even that. But I feel like then every time I'm over here and buy something or get change, I'll be expected to hand it over to her. Was I wrong for not giving my dad's girlfriend my quarters? All throughout high school, my parents prodded me to study hard, earn good grades, and involve myself in extracurriculars. They constantly said things along the lines of, look at person A's sister, she's attending Harvard Law, and follow person B's example, he's doing an MBA at Stanford. I did as I was told and was accepted into one of the HYPSM. That stands for Harvard, Yale, Princeton, Stanford, MIT. I vividly remember crying out of sheer happiness when I logged into the portal and saw my acceptance letter. I thought my parents would just be as excited as I was, but imagine my shock when they said, we think you should attend state school instead because it's a lot cheaper and just as good for your major, computer science, as HYPSM. We earn X per month. The mortgage is Y per month, so we have to support the family on Z per month. Where's the money for you to attend HYPSM? They then logged into their bank account and invited me to do the budget calculations myself. I did them, saw that the numbers added up, and declined my HYPSM offer. I ended up going to state school in computer science. I currently work at which means that I will be able to pay off my student loans relatively quickly. My parents said they'd pay the difference after I took out the max in federal loans per school year. My sister called in December to tell me that she was accepted early into one of the HYPSM. I congratulated her on getting in and asked if our parents would force her to decline her offer as well due to the cost. She told me that Dad told her not to worry about the cost. I then put two and two together, made an excuse to leave, and hung up the phone. I couldn't believe that I hadn't put two and two together before that moment. My dad has worked at a different FANG since 2006. These companies give their employees a lot of stock per year, which meant that when I was getting my college acceptance letters, spring 2016, my dad's shares were worth hundreds of thousands, possibly even millions of dollars. My dad is able to pay for my sister's tuition by selling off some of his shares. The next time my parents FaceTime me, I asked them why they were unwilling to sell some of Dad's shares when I was accepted into HYPSM. They visibly tensed up and muttered something about how their financial decisions were none of my business. I then told them that this was the last time I'd ever speak with them because they were liars who pulled a giant bait and switch on me. That all happened shortly before Christmas. My girlfriend asked me why I've been declining all of the calls lately. After I explained to her why, she told me that she can see why I'm angry, but she also told me that I really shouldn't be complaining as I'm in a better financial position than at least 95% of people our age.
Hi guys, thank you for watching. I love you guys so much. Please like and subscribe to see more great videos. See you again.